I am Michelle Mosley.
And I'm Khalida Hunter.
And this is a podcast / talk show for Black and brown folks. A safe place for us to talk about topics that matter to us. No topic is off limits, and this is a no judgment zone. No judgment. So what's up, everyone? What's that say? Somebody sipping on. Hey. Oh, I thought they showed us what they were sipping on.
Everybody probably drinking water.
Like as usual.
Nobody wants to drink with us. Unless they
So ladies, let's take a toast to a good night. Cheers.
And we're sipping on some Moscato.
Yes, I like this Moscato too. I'm so glad that you put us up on this Moscato. For real.
Really good. I can't stop drinking it.
Yeah, because that's the scary part.
I brought Michelle a bottle, right? I'm like, I'm going to leave this bottle here. She's like, I'm not going to drink it. I'm like, whatever, I'm going to leave the bottle here. She's like,
yeah.
Like it.
Yes, that bottle was
Watch that bottle.
That bottle was on. So tonight we are talking with Elisa, and we are going to be discussing a sacred place for women to heal. Women of color to heal.
Cause y'all know we B1 over here.
Yes, we are B1. So let's jump right into it. That's what our thing is. Our title on Instagram. Guys, don't forget we go live every Thursday night on Instagram. So if you want to interact with us, like we always say, like if you want to get your opinion right then and there on the spot, like girl, that's how you can do it right there on Instagram with us. Or you can leave comments on YouTube when you subscribe. But we're gonna jump right into it. Why did you decide to come up with a place for women of color to heal?
Sacred Healing Spaces was created specifically for women of color that are domestic violence and sexual assault survivors. So myself being a survivor of both, it was very close to my heart. We combined kind of like therapy with yoga. So it's awesome with combining the two. So it creates a space, it's a facilitated space where women of color can, come and just share their stories and heal. Honestly. But what drove me to it is my own personal healing. The tools that I use in order to be able to heal and go through the process of really just coming into my own space, being able to tell my story from a place of power instead of a place of pain. So
yeah. I like that because that's what I started doing with poetry. I would write it and I would be scared to share it because I'm also a survivor of domestic abuse. I'm a survivor of working in working in the sex industry, and so for me sharing that part of me, I was so scared. Like people are gonna always have known me as just the poet, as just this girl who's like the poet. She's a little spiritual, she's a little down to earth. We don't know this side of her, but I realized that by sharing my story through my poetry, it was empowering.
Yeah.
It was giving me my voice back.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Definitely. When we share our stories in connection, and I'm sorry if my body language is like, but we share our stories in connection, and then we realize, like every time we run a session and someone tells their story of what happened, 9 times out of 10, if there's like 10 people in the room, 8 people can relate to exactly what that person has been through. So what it shows us and what it teaches us is that we're not alone, for number one.
Yes.
And then what it also shows you is how much we're suffering and how necessary this really is, this process to heal. I commend you and I honor you for sharing that through poetry.
If you say 8 people can relate, I remember the first time I shared my poem called I Hate That Hoe. And it was talking about me becoming this hoe for this man, like basically degrading myself and selling myself just to be accepted by this man. And there was older women in the audience. Like, I'm talking like 50, 60-year-old women. So I was like, God, how dare you have me share this phone tonight? But I felt it. I was like, you feel that tug? Like, go ahead, share it. You better. And then all of a sudden, in the middle of the poem, I swear she had to be the oldest lady in the room. She said, I hate my inner hoe too. And then after this lady was so she was a part of this performing arts program. Later on in that evening, she got up and she talked about how she used to be, back in the day, she used to be a stripper. She used to be when they had the little things, tassels on their thing, and she talked about how horrible she was at first because she couldn't get her tassels. I wish I could remember this lady's name, but it's so right that you never know who is going to relate to your story. And then on top of that, you never can judge a book by its cover. My mom always used to be like, thank God I don't look like
what I've been through.
Yes. So what do you say, because we've had this on our show, what do you say to people who say, why does it have to be for women of color?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Why do you
have
have to make that statement?
Right.
Oh, listen, honey. Where do I start? Honestly,
girl, let it all out. This is a safe
where
place.
Do I start? I mean, for number one, we suffer the most. What was it, Malcolm X that said we're the most unappreciated, disrespected? So all of that falls into place, and not only that, mainly, and not to make it like a race thing, but women of other nationalities have had the forums, have had the spaces to heal. And for us, because we're labeled, we have to be strong.
Right.
We gotta be the strong black woman. And it's like, it doesn't allow us the space to be able to open up and really show emotion. So it makes us in turn become bitter because we have all this bottled up inside that we can't be human about. So it's really just a space to be human and to share and to be able to connect through each other. It's like when you share your story with someone else and they're able to really woman of color, like for instance, if we're sitting here and I'm in a room with a whole bunch of white women, right? And there's just certain things, let's be honest, that culturally are just different.
Right.
That are just different.
Yes.
And we as a culture, we're taught to protect our men. We're taught to, you're not supposed to call the cops. If you get abused or something happens, the first thing that's said with us is, well, what did you say? Well, what did you do? And why did you call the cops on him? What was he and so it leaves an underlining thing of it's acceptable. So when I go into a room full of white women who the world, when they are abused, is, calling. Yes, right. Yes. And to me, it's like, but you're strong.
Right.
And it's almost like
you made it through.
Yes.
But look at you.
You don't look like him. But I go home by myself and I'm sitting there crying.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so for us to be able to connect together as women of color, it breaks down that barrier for number one, that we can't come together. We come together through our stories and through what we've been through. And so women of color, it's just needed. Yeah. It's just needed. We hold so much in. We bottle so much in. We have to be, like I said, the strong black woman to keep going. We have to take care of our kids. When it comes to the marriage rate, a lot of times we're the least married and all of those different things. So we hold a lot on our own, and we very rarely have the space to be able to release that out of our being. Then on top of all of that just stuff we got going on right now, we got ancestral stuff.
Right.
So we have stuff that is passed down in our DNA through our mothers and through our mothers' mothers and mothers' mother. Like, I can go on and on. Y'all want to stop me?
No, because that was tying. Yeah, that was
about that as well.
That was going to tie into one of my questions too. Like, healing. Like, what does that look like for us? Because a lot of us, I'm just realizing, and I hate to do it, but what is not revealed is not healed. the more I talk to my ancestors, the more I meditate, I'm starting